All right. Just sent over a Zoom meeting request to Brett Kleins of BRC Property Services. This is a website I recently redesigned for him. Brett takes care of commercial and residential properties, handles all type of stuff. He's a very hardworking guy. He's a great dude. And I'm going to walk him through how to set up ads on Facebook so he can help generate more leads to his business and turn more profits. So we're just going to wait on him and we'll start the conversation. And I'll show you guys kind of how I walk through clients and explaining things and setting things up for them. Hey, Brett, can you see my screen? I'm screen sharing. You should be able to see it through the app.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, I figured it'd be easier just to talk than go back and forth with the text. So kind of give me an idea of, in terms of what you're thinking. We got the website up. Facebook page is looking good. You're getting a lot of hits, and you want to do your first ad campaign. Kind of give me the gist of what you were thinking or what you had in mind.
What I want to do is right now is about the time where they're starting to start signing some plowing contracts. As the weather starts getting colder, people are starting to think about it. So I want to kind of hit their news feeds and shit, and trying to get a jump start on the snow plowing thing and get into, obviously try to get ahead of other people and try to land some more contracts.
Absolutely. Do you give incentives for signing up early on contracts in terms of like if they sign ahead?
We can.
Yeah, so what I was thinking was basically you probably have an idea structure-wise in terms of what you charge for a season. And what we could do is when we set up this ad campaign, we could have a promo code that either they could contact you and tell you what it is, or we could set up something on the website that basically says use this code within the next 10 days of seeing this ad. We'll give you 10% off. But what we'll do is we can mark the service up 10% so you're not losing money on that. You know what I mean? It's just more of an enticing thing. Now, in terms of your snow plowing service and the lawn care service, do you charge for individuals? Like say if they just want you to plow for maybe 1 month, do you have certain things set up for that or maybe one time, or you want to lock them in?
So I offer the seasonal contract, which runs from like November 1st to April 1st. And then and that's a flat rate, you know what I mean?
Okay, so for the snow plowing it's November 1st until April 1st.
And then I do offer like, okay, if somebody didn't want to sign it up, they can do a pay per plow, but obviously that's going to be a more
expensive,
not cost
for sure
for them, because how I do it is say a normal driveway, like a 2-car wide, normal average size driveway is like probably $350 for a seasonal plow. And that's just every few inches of snow you go and you hit the driveway. That's not getting out and shoveling sidewalks. It's not, you know what I mean? So if they want sidewalks done, that's another $100. Gotcha. So I mean, typically if you want your sidewalks and your snow and everything cleaned off, you're looking at between $350 and $450 for the season.
Gotcha. Okay, now obviously I have this pulled up now. I was just kind of looking up average snowfall rates in Buffalo, because my theory is this: as someone, obviously I have rent, so I don't have a driveway. So I think what we could do is, and obviously this will come down to you writing these packages up, but have something set up where they could have the November 1st until April 1st package. That's a set rate. Some people might feel like they'll need it more in January as opposed to maybe November. So giving them at least 3 options in this ad will be the best for you to at least generate more leads, because everyone has a different situation. There might be some snowbirds that go down to Florida, so they might not need it the whole time, but they might need it for maybe the first half of the year and then the other half, depending on what their situation is. Coming out of this, we want to basically generate leads for 3 options for payment, meaning 3 different services. So one being you pay for the whole season, November 1st to April 1st. The second package could be half the season, which you would have to figure out, would you want to do that maybe from January to April? Third, obviously less ideal, would be like you said, call on request, pay per plow. Exactly. And obviously it's not, you want them to sign up ahead of time because it lets you have a set schedule. You could plan your routes out better.
Yeah, obviously I do get those, and I do take care of those because obviously you're out and about. But pushing for the, obviously the contract way would be the best. But but I do like what you're getting at with the possibly like a January to March or something, January 1st to March 15th or something like that, or
Yeah. Well, basically splitting it up, because I'm trying to think of a lot of people in Buffalo, especially older people who usually don't plow their own driveways or have a snow plow. A lot of people I know that are snowbirds leave in January, come back in March. So to them, they can care less if their driveway is full or not. So there might be benefit in having a package set up from November to January, which would obviously be cheaper than January to April because you're going to get more snowfall during that time. But they might just want to have it cleared up and then have it set up that way. But the goal is to get them to sign up ahead of time. This way, you're locking in and guaranteeing the money. In terms of payment, how are you structuring this? Are you going to do it by check? Because one thing I was thinking about that could be a bonus for you is that by them signing up and planning ahead, everything is COVID friendly, meaning they make payments, they don't got to call you, you're there on time, payments taken care of, it's all done either online or through checks in the mail. How do you plan on, like, if we run this ad and you get a call in, how are you structuring getting payment?
If we could do either a check by the mail or I don't know. Is there a way to maybe set up a link like you have to just send them a link to pay right online?
Absolutely. So do you have PayPal? Do you have a PayPal account? Perfect. If you have a PayPal account, we can set up a page on the site with a button with the 3 options available that once this ad runs, it'll direct them. The call to action will be to the page we set up. You could set the PayPal buttons up where it's subscription based, meaning they'll charge them for the first month and then it'll automatically bill them. Or you could even do it where it'll just bill them all at once, depending on people's finances. I know with COVID and everything going on, people might have a little tighter budgets.
How I usually do it, Charlie, is I offer, so say somebody signs up for the season, okay? I offer the ability to either they pay right up front, they pay the full amount with a signed contract, or how I do it is you pay half up front and half come January. Because that way, if say come January they don't want to pay me anymore and they stop paying me, then I stop servicing them. You know what I mean? Yeah,
and also too, you want to lock them in ahead of time because if it doesn't fall, they feel like they're not getting their money's worth. They try to wiggle out of it.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So the contracts that you have drawn up, are you doing it like literally by hand, where you give them the paper, they sign it? Do you have everything digitally set up?
Currently, I just have papers, like paper signature ones, but I do have QuickBooks that can create an invoice right off of my
that's okay, perfect
here,
perfect
and they could sign it right on there.
So now the main thing and the hardest part is figuring out, okay, we're ready to run ads, and it comes down to what kind of budget do you want to work with, and what is your main goal? To generate new leads for specifically snow plowing, and do you want to try to clean up on the rest of the year for lawn care, or do you want to maybe promote heavily on the snow plowing and then say you can call for by service or by job lawn care service?
Personally, I think right now people are starting to think about fall cleanup and snow. Okay.
Yep.
So if we could run an ad that initiates like the fall cleanup and the snow plowing services kind of together.
Well, this is perfect. Then, in my opinion, just kind of like thinking about what you were looking to do, the best way to promote anything, especially if you're going to pay for ads, which it doesn't matter if you're running just text, if you're running an image or video, you're still going to pay the same amount per click or per view. So the most effective right now, and it's proven over and over again, is video. So I don't know if you're familiar. Have you ever heard of a guy named Ty Lopez?
No.
He's like a self-help guru who ran an ad on YouTube a while back. Okay, so this video you're looking at right here is a guy named Ty Lopez. He started a business on YouTube, and this was his ad campaign. You know what I
like a lot more than
nothing fancy. It's just him holding his phone in his garage, and he's explaining to people how he's built success over the years, and he has a program to show you how to do it. So by him doing this, it kind of makes it personal. So when someone sees the ad on Facebook, they don't feel like it's a corporation marketing them. They'll think it's either you or someone that they know personally. And it also establishes trust and that he has value, meaning he's explaining that he has wealth. You could see his Corvette or whatever car that is. I'm not a car guy. And it's very simple, meaning you don't need high production value. So for someone like you, in my opinion, if you were to create a video, I would first recommend that it's shot vertically, because when people are scrolling on Facebook, the more screen you could take up, the better. So if it's filmed sideways, like your typical how you view it on the TV, it's going to take up less screen space. So realistically, if you were to either get a tripod or if you just hold it like he is, get your truck, attach your snowplow to it, kind of have it set up to show that you have all the equipment, and then you make it really brief and really quick to the point. Less than 30 seconds would be ideal, or even 15 seconds. And we can kind of pitch it where it's like, you know, if there's one thing pandemic has taught me as a business owner, it's the importance of planning ahead. You know, don't get left out in the cold this winter. Give me a call to get, you know what I mean? Something like that. We can write copy that's beneficial. And it doesn't matter if it takes you 10 tries to do it or if we have to clip it. If you just get a 15-second clip of you explaining that, we have brief text, and then we set a budget. I think that would be your best way to get clients, because you're introducing yourself to them. They could see that you have value, you have the equipment. And I think that would be the best way. Now, if you didn't want to do the video, if we can get a picture of you maybe standing in front of the truck with the equipment attached and all the stuff that you use, just as good too. Or we could do both. We could take a picture, because if you're going to do the video, you're already set up. You could have pictures as well. And then, like I said, you keep the copy very brief. You don't want it to be overwhelming. People are scrolling through, especially Facebook. There's all the political stuff going on right now. People don't want to really read anything. So audio's good. Video's the best, obviously, but I would push for video. But if you're more comfortable with maybe just putting a photo for now, we could start with that. And then once you get everything, we could set up a time. I can come meet you and I'll just film it real quick. Like I said, quick, 15 seconds to 30 seconds max. That's really all you're looking for. You're just trying to get your point across. A lot of people get nervous when they're on camera talking. It'll take a few tries. It's fine. But at the end of the day, you love what you do. You're great at your business, and you'll get the point across. And we could make it so it doesn't look highly produced. You don't look like a corporation. And all I've seen on social media since the pandemic is what do you see? Support small business. Well, what better way than to have someone like you just explaining your business and sharing it? So the next thing I'll show you is how we would go about setting up the campaign. Now, on your account, if you're looking at your phones here, it says Ad Center right here. This is basically where you manage all your ad accounts. Now, we'll have to set one. Oh, you already have one. Brett Klein spent 21 ads. Okay. What success have you had with the ones that you've done on your own so far?
I don't really think I've had much. I mean, I've just had, I think,
like
people just,
profile views and likes.
Yeah, just profile views, maybe likes, like stupid little thing like that. I've never really had a call. You know what I mean?
So what I would recommend is, and obviously there's much ways to go about it, when you create a campaign on Facebook, you set up a goal. So in this case, there's multiple goals we can go about. You could either get more people to contact you, which is ideal, you know, get more website visitors, which doesn't really mean much right now, get more website purchases. You're not selling digital goods or anything. So there's two ways we can go about it. Now, if you're noticing that the ads you've run hasn't really generated any calls, even though they recommend get more people to contact, one thing, and this is kind of a newer thing they released in the last year, is the get more leads ad. And if you click on it, within the ad itself, you'll see that there is a call to action right there. See how it says full name, email. So if there was a video above that, instead of saying a fresh solution for natural luxury, say we had that video of you talking or whatever, and then below we would change where it says contact information to be like request a quote, whatever you want to put here, and then they could just do it, boom, right there. With the email, or you could switch to other options. See, we could get other things. We can get their street address. Street address would be good for you, though, to make sure that they're within your area. But off the bat,
I would like that
though,
because
they're going to be weary. So the best thing, just initially, is either have phone and email, and then just their name, their contact name. Because you know how people are with their information; they don't really want to give it out. For me, looking at what you're looking to do, and if you haven't noticed any really calls coming in, I think this is a good way to start. Snowplow. So you'll see, like, as I start typing it's going to populate what the ad would look like on someone's feed. So we would come up with some brief text, something catchy, like I said, I think the pandemic route is a good thing, talking about the importance of planning and what happens when you don't plan, and then basically introducing you. So if we didn't do video, if we could get audio would be great. Even you just recording into your voice memo on your iPhone is very clear. We can kind of write copy and I could have you say it until you get it right. And then I could put that over a picture, or we could have like blending, like a slideshow of photos blending. Or like I said, if you can just get just like Ty Lopez, just like this guy, sitting in his garage holding the phone with one hand. My name is Brett Kleins. I'm sole proprietor and owner of BRC Property Services. I work in Western New York, Buffalo, and this. From my experience, I think you'll have a great result from this, because when people could see who they're working with, it's a lot better than just going off a website. Even though it looks professional, it helps. But sometimes even just hearing a voice, if you can't put a face to it, it's hard for people to build trust, especially when you're talking about doing something where you're on their property, like you're in their driveway. Having someone that looks professional, they'll feel more comfortable, especially if these are people who might not be home and they want to have it taken care of when they're away. They see you, you're presentable, you got the stuff. They're not worried about you, maybe snow plowing and sneaking in their garage. You know what I mean? It sounds trivial, but these are things that you want to really consider.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then the other thing basically comes down to how you want to set up the campaign. So the best way I've found is to stretch your campaign over a number amount of days. Some people like to go heavy on 2 or 3 days, but in your case, you have time till the season. So if you're looking to launch on November 1st, running a certain budget for maybe a week or even a month, I honestly think even with just the photo one, let's not do 100 yet. Let's start at like 50, because I'm telling you, from my personal opinion, I would hate to see you just throw money at this ad when I know the other one is better. I would rather you save more money and just use this as almost like a primer to just get it out there. So when they see the next one coming, they're ready for it. This one's just a primer. So we could set a budget for, say, $50, do $5 a day until it reaches that $50 limit. Boom, cut it off until you get your stuff ready, and then really do it the right way, because this might net you a few deals, which is great. I mean, look at the reach we can get with just a little budget like this. You're talking 1.7 to 4.8 thousand people. All you need is one deal to really kind of break even on a $50 ad. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's really the goal. And then hopefully, ideally, the money you generate from this, you won't even have to come out of your pocket or out of your bank account. You just reinvest your earnings. Like a good thing when you're building a business is to take maybe 20% of your profits and reinvest it back in advertising. But from my standpoint right now, I would hate to see you invest in an ad that I don't feel would be more official than what we talked about with the video and actually getting you talking and on camera and stuff.
Exactly. So, and I would like to do that as well. I mean, even if we didn't do that till like mid-October, people are still signing contracts.
100%. 100%. 100%. So right now on your Facebook page for your business, is your information to set up these ads already in here? Because if so, I'll go to the drawing board, kind of come up with some copy. And then in the meantime, you can start thinking about the 3 packages we discussed. Like, because one thing about call to actions, you don't want to have just one product to offer them. So by us having 3 options, meaning full season pre-purchase with a discount, but like we said before, the discount, you're going to basically bump it up a little bit so you're not losing money on the discount. It's just looking like they're saving. Anytime you can make someone feel like they're saving money, it's saving better. Money. Like my grandmother used to always shop at Tops. She had a bonus card. She thought she was saving all this money, not realizing all Tops does is bump their products up a few more bucks, and these people think they're getting the deal of a lifetime. But that's not the case. It's just a psychological thing. Budget-wise, what is something, if you were to do the 3 packages we talked about, cost for full season, cost for half season, and then your per job rate?
To be honest, Charlie, it's tough to pinpoint a number on a driveway, because without me, that's another thing. Like it's tough because I could just say a normal average driveway, but everybody will say, yeah, my driveway is a normal average driveway.
Until you get to clearance, and it's a half a mile.
Exactly. So, and that's what's tough. So I need to know, like, it's tough for me to just pinpoint a number right off the bat, but we can say like,
see, my thing is like, if we could find a good median for you, meaning there might be instances where you're going to lose out on terms of you should have gotten more, but majority of the time you're actually reaping the benefits of having a higher rate on those smaller driveways. But also, someone like you who has worked in all these different areas, I think you have a better idea of, okay, this is a Clarence client. Clarence is a pretty big, widespread area. Driveways are much big. You know what I mean? So I think looking back at your last year's numbers and what driveways you've done, I think you'll be able to get a good gauge as far as like maybe residual clients or a base of your customer base. Where are they located? What is the average driveway size? And what's a number that I don't technically lose out on, but I might not be breaking even on. But in the long run, you're still benefiting. The only reason I say that is because you want to make it a very seamless, easy process. If they see your ad, they fill it out, call you, and then all of a sudden you're on the phone going, well, how far is your driveway? And then they got to pull out these things. It's going to determine right off the bat. Whereas if you have, boom, this set locked in rate, And like I said, you do quality work. So don't be afraid to maybe keep that number at a good amount where you feel like majority of the time you're going to benefit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I want to be able, since I'm so new and stuff as well, like I want to beat out a lot of these other people. So I don't want to be too high that I'm going to miss out because I'm too high, but I also don't want to be too low that I'm going to fuck myself in the long run. It also depends on snowfall too. You think about it, 2 years ago, I had contracts in Buffalo. Buffalo snowfall that year was like 116 inches of snow. And my contract's based off of like 2 to 3 inches of snow. So if I'm going there, I base it upon like 25 plows is how I typically do it. And if I'm going there more than 25 times, I mean, that time I probably, pretty much went there like 50 times. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I lost money.
And these are hard things to predict. Snow plowing is a business. There's people making money at it. These companies that are doing it are obviously turning a profit. Now, they've figured out some calculation that obviously right now that seems to be your bottleneck is like, how do I price this thing? There's all these variables. We need to either get insight from someone who's already doing it, that what is their method about going about it, or we can kind of take matters into our own hands and maybe start looking up, Buffalo weather, snowfall average for, say, Lockport, Clarence, because if you can kind of get a 5-year average, you'll have a better idea of how much you plan to probably be out there and see their snowfall. So like if I type in Buffalo, New York, average snowfall last 5 years, we look this up real quick. So in 2011, there was 1.6 inches. Now, if someone has a contract with you from November until April 1st, what is the minimum amount of snowfall it takes for you to come out? I think you said 2 inches, 2.6 inches. Okay. So, and this is where Buffalo, it is wild because look at these numbers. 2011 in November, 1.6. I'm not sure what T stands for. Maybe that means none. 2.4, 10, then it went to 20. So within the last two seasons in November, there was 13.4 and 12.6. So if there's that much snowfall in the month of November, you would probably have to go out, if you had a guess, to make how many times within that month?
At least 4 times.
Perfect. So there's been good snowfall these last 2 years, which, it helps you out. And these are other things that we can consider when you're explaining the service of, how the snowfall, because I think there's one thing a lot of people lose when they market something or they're running an ad is they don't explain to the customer where you're getting your money from. Like, meaning, why does it cost this? Like when I go to the vet and I take Benny and they tell me, at this veterinarian, your pet is our number one priority. And then I take him, they stick his ass with a needle and they give him 2 chewables and the bill's $279. Now I start to question, if my pet is the number one priority, I'm questioning that because in the driveway, I see you have a Porsche parked there and you're charging me $270 for a needle filled with liquid that you probably got a wholesale bottle full of it. You know what I mean? So if you're able to maybe sit down and start thinking about ways to explain to these people why your cost is what it is, they'll be more in tune to pay that extra amount because you have to calculate your own risk. Looking at your website, I think we have all the puzzle pieces we need, right? So we just redid the website. Looks beautiful. Everything looks professional. Facebook page. We come on here. You've built credibility. You have over 1,000 followers. You have a good amount. You're getting good action. So yeah, you have perfect. You have that. There's credibility there. You have people that you've worked with in the past. So I think before we sit down and actually launch this ad, I think one thing for you to start considering is, okay, what's going to be my pricing for full year, half year? And the half year could be from November to January, and then the other half year could be a different rate from January to April, because obviously there'll probably be more snowfall, especially judging by this. But these Buffalo is so wild.
How do you recommend charging that?
And I think that's something where I'm not an expert in your industry, meaning you have more experience in the snow plowing business. You've done it a lot. You kind of know what it takes. I think a lot of it comes down to profit margins. You want to basically be as efficient as possible with your gas mileage, your routes, how you schedule, where you plow, how you plow, kind of like the United States Postal Service. Every day they get new mail in. Now, once they get that mail, they have a pre-designated route based on the most efficient way to distribute that mail. So until you start having contracts signed, people are ready for the season, you'll have to really sit down and start mapping out your route, because you don't want to make it so every time there's a snowfall, you're scattered all over the place. So once you know where your hub's at, where you'll be leaving from, and you have the clients pre-registered, this allows you to now have your route. And that comes down to another selling point, where basically when you're pitching this and you're saying pre-order for the season, because by you doing this, I can give you a better rate because it allows me to do these types of things like plan my route, which saves me gas money. Like, these are things that you want to convey to the customer that a lot of these other snowplow companies probably just leave them in the blind. And then the other thing is, let's start Googling, Clarence, New York snowplow company. Let's see their rates, if they have rates on the website. Or if they don't, you have a couple emails, just act like you're someone else. Seem like, hey, I'm inquiring, what is the cost of service for this? Send them an email, see what they say, and then ask them to break it down. Like, why does it cost this? And just off you inquiring from another business that's doing it, you'll be able to get better insight for your business, and we can kind of apply it. Because like you said, how do you calculate this? That's something like right now, sitting here talking to you, I'd be lying if I had an answer for you. I don't. But from a business standpoint, the way I would go about it is getting the information and doing the research. I think research is, the most important thing, the averages, because even though weather's very unpredictable and we might not get hit with any snow, but then again, when we were saying about the pricing, if you structure your price at a median area, like we do it a lot with shipping clients that I have that ship products, we offer free shipping. Now, the reason we do that is because we factor the cost into the cost of the product. Now, there might be certain items that they sell that, they're going to either lose a little money or they're going to break even. But the money lost comes from the profit that they gained on selling the product at whatever wholesale rate they got. So the profits that they lose out on come out of that a little bit. But majority of the time, they're either going to break even or they're going to even benefit more from it, because a lot of the items you're shipping are less than the weight of all the products. You know what I mean? So it comes down to finding that median average. And that's why before we run an ad campaign, I want to make it for you so simple that we have the 3 buttons they could pay out with. You could either send the invoices, they go to the website to check out. They literally do it right there. Then you could follow up afterwards to get their information, their address. But once you have their card charged, you have the money in the door. Now it just comes down to the most important thing of business, which is customer service. Make them feel appreciated, let them know what you plan on doing. And now that you have their payment, you could consider these annual residual clients every year. And I'm assuming you have a list of people right now that you've done work with last year that'll probably be calling you to, start it up again. So when we run this ad, that's another thing we need to consider is, do you want to target people that already like the page? Do you want to do it by, there's so many things that
I would do, Charles, is probably I would like to run it for specifically probably towns, because my whole service area, I don't want to service plowing in that whole entire service area.
All right, let's do this. Let's do it medium household incomes in certain areas, because my thing is this: for someone to afford the luxury of having a snowplow, they have to have income that is disposable, meaning they're not strapped for cash, stuff like that. So if we start looking in Western New York, even if we start with just right here, because like we were saying before, you don't want to have it so you have all these service areas and now you're driving all over the place, because your gas mileage, wear and tear on the car is going to cut into your profit margin. So I think Clarence, Williamsville, Amherst, Lancaster, the people that live there make good money. They have disposable income. From my personal experience, people I know that live in those areas, a lot of them are snowbirds. They travel. When it comes time to open and close their pool, they hire services for that. You've been to my friend Aaron's house. Remember when I was staying over in Amherst? It's a perfect type of family where they do exactly that kind of stuff. So I think this is a good start. We have our target area. Now, in your opinion, when you do deal with people in terms of setting up clients and setting up deals, are you mainly dealing with men? Are you mainly dealing with women? And where would the age demographic be from the people you've worked with in the past? Because when I run this ad, I don't want the ad to go wasted on a client that doesn't fit your business needs. Meaning, I want to make sure that we're putting this in front of the best possible candidate to purchase your products.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say, to be honest with you, I don't know. It's pretty much 50-50 on male or female, but age-wise, I would say at least 40 and up.
You know what? Just for the hell of it, because Clarence, Williamsville, Amherst, a lot of kids my age that have graduated high school have actually moved to these areas, and I know a lot of them have good jobs. Let's say 35. 35 is a good one. I think 35
Okay.
is when people really start settling down. They start turning a profit in life and have that extra, income. The more research we do, whether it's looking at annual snowfall per month, looking up the salaries of the areas you want to service, these are things that someone like you, it benefits you greatly because people that living out in Clarence, Williamsville, Amherst, paying those school taxes, people that travel a lot, these are definitely your target demographics. And it allows you to keep it kind of, not that they're right on top of each other, but it's not like you're driving from here to Angola back, so that's good. So we have our geographic location. We're going to, for this first ad, we're going to do Clarence, Williamsville, Amherst, Lancaster. The age demographic is going to be 35 to, 99. And now, do you want to target men and women? Do you want to target just men? In your opinion,
I would say target men and women.
I think it is good to do both because a lot of times, a lot of the buying decisions in a household are actually made by the women. So they might be the ones taking care of it. And there's, especially in these areas, Clarence, Williamsville, Amherst, a lot of stay-at-home moms, women that take care of the house, the needs. So I think targeting both is definitely a good idea. Now, when do you want to start running this first round of ads for this first thing? Do you want to wait till maybe the middle of September, like September 20th, maybe the last week leading into October, middle of October? Because I want to give you time to come up with what we talked about in terms of your pricing. I want you to look into that. And if you need help getting information, just, text me, like, can you find me this? And I could send you that. Because I think your main focus from after this discussion is to really sit down, excuse me, and figure out your overhead costs, meaning what are your monthly fees that you're paying to run this business? Obviously, gas, your car payment, your insurance. Look at what your insurance costs for the 6 months of the season. That gets factored in. Tally up all your expenses. Then that's your nut. And from there, you can now start setting up how many clients do I need at this rate to turn a profit. Like, these are things I want you to think about because at the end of the day, running a business is all about profit margins. So you can work for a company that makes $100,000 a year, but if they have so many employees and the cost to run that business is 80 grand, it's not as beneficial as someone who works out of their house and they're making 35,000 a year net, because their profit margins are lower. All right, but other than that, I think, now that I was able to show you, you have a better idea how this works and putting a little graphic design edge to it and you kind of getting a better understanding, I think you'll be better suited on this next round of ads. And like I said, for just $50, we're going to get you in front of 2.4 thousand people. So that's a good start. What I'll do is I'm going to keep this information in a file for you. We're planning on, we mentioned, running this ad from September 21st for the $50 campaign, the 21st of September to the 30th. Let's plan on doing another Zoom meeting, maybe Sunday the 20th. We're in that meeting. I could walk through the ad. We could do it together. And then you could set up your payment, however you want to do it. And then we'll have the ad ready to go. So come Monday morning, the 21st, ad's ready to go. You're on board with everything that's on there. Copy looks good. And we could start with that. And that'll be a good way to get us going. And then we'll go from there, brother. Sound good?
Heck yeah. Sounds
all right, man,
good,
I
buddy.
appreciate you taking the time to talk. Let's, like I said, we'll schedule another one. I'll text you, and we'll be in touch. In the meantime,
man,
if you're ever around this way, let's grab a beer. Fucking go to the brewery or something.
I'm down.
All right, man. You know where we're at. You're always welcome.
All right, buddy. I'll be in touch.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks. I
Have a good one.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yep.